Very few games give me trouble nowadays. I'm able to complete whatever is thrown at me with semi-ease. But with a game like Furi, things are a bit different. Furi went under the radar for many people because of its obscurity. It really was a game that came out of nowhere, but that's not really a bad thing. Furi was developed and published by the Game Bakers, an indie studio which has never really hit much of a success. However, Furi is easily their biggest and, in my opinion, best title they've released thus far. Furi was released on PS4 and PC on July 5th, 2016 with high ratings from fans, but a meh and okay response from some critics and other gamers. Furi casts you in the shoes, well, I guess not exactly shoes, of a nameless protagonist who finds himself locked up for what we, as the player, do not know. But according to the various enemies we are pitted against in the game, it has to be something truly monstrous. We are freed by a mysterious bunny man who clearly has more secrets than he leads on. He tells us he'll help us escape if you help him escape. So, with your brawn and skill, and his knowledge of the prison, you fight your way through bosses big and small. The story is very minimalistic, and it is given through lengthy walks through various areas between each boss fight. The story is told to you in pieces by the bunny man and whatever boss you encounter. All you really know till the end of the game is that you did something really bad, and the bosses are there to keep you locked up. This bothered many players and critics alike who wanted a more streamlined story and felt the way the narrative was displayed was a little too pretentious. I didn't have much of a problem with it after a while. My only gripe I had with the story is that you aren't entirely sure if your character remembers why he is locked up or what his motivation is for getting out in the first place. But on subsequent playthroughs, I just had to accept the fact that the character is a blank slate that you have to fill the shoes of. So whether or not he remembers is really up to you and your decisions. I don't care for blank slate characters too much, even though some of my favorite franchises like Shin Megami Tensei or Half-Life are built up from that archetype. As a personal issue, the blank slate aspect is kind of a bummer at first, but once I get into it, I enjoy it a little bit. The game has a very interesting soundtrack, composed of various artists such as the Wave Shaper, the Toxic Avenger, Danger, and various others who all bring something unique to the table when it comes to the music. It's all kind of the same genre, techno, but at varying degrees, and you can definitely tell which style belongs to which artists. However, with these varying styles, you would expect it to be very disjointed and have an unnatural feel to it. However, I feel like the music flows very well, and I'd love to see another collaboration album of sorts by these other artists again at some point. The best way I can explain the sound of the music is a sort of Daft Punky, Discovery, Human After All feel. It kind of feels like those two albums mixed together, and that's a good thing. This soundtrack is one of those soundtracks that you can listen to without prior playing of the game to be enjoyed, and that's instantly a plus in my books. I rate this as one of my favorite soundtracks for a video game. I highly recommend it. Even if you're not going to play the game, give the soundtrack a listen. It's definitely worth it. The gameplay, as you might have caught on, centers around bosses. The game is one big boss rush, which I was not entirely expecting. I went into this game almost entirely blind and not even sure what the gameplay was going to be like, but I was pleasantly surprised. The game has a weirdly unique combination of bullet hell and third-person hack and slash. I was kind of thrown off by this combination, however. It's incredibly endearing though. The bosses typically have a set number of HP bars, and each HP bar has a shield which is taken down by an engaging, top-down bullet hell experience, which can be incredibly difficult if this is your first rodeo in a bullet hell scene. After the boss's shield is dispatched, the camera changes angles to a more close-quarters third-person hack-and-slash experience. These segments I find the most difficult due to you having to have a quick reaction time to parry and to take advantage of incredibly small attack windows. After each boss fight, however, you get a relaxing cooldown time, where story is explained in slow, walking segments. You can truly enjoy the stunning visuals and music in these parts, and I love it. The game has around 4 endings, which each take place in different parts of the story, which I thought was very interesting. One of the endings that is achieved is by listening to an NPC's advice, even though it sounds like it's just a scripted scene you're supposed to ignore, which I thought was pretty neat. The controls are very snappy in my opinion and work very well. There were a few times that I could have sworn it was the game that slipped up, but that just probably was user error of me getting in the heat of the moment. The parries are extremely hard to pull off in combat if you go in blind, but once you master the timing that coincides with the little white aura and the ding sound from the enemy, the resulting parry and or perfect parry is extremely rewarding. The game has very beautiful graphics and visuals, which is very stylized, but obviously pulls a lot of inspiration from other media pieces. A good example is the OST box art is clearly inspired by the Metal Gear / Zone of the Enders concept art pieces. The best thing about stylized graphics like these is that the game will always be in a state of timelessness, which is great. This is a game that can go down in history and not really feel all that different from when it first came out. I love all the designs, whether it be the bosses, protagonists, locations, they all have a unique charm to them that is truly a spectacle. As an artist myself, I find myself getting lost in the expansive beauty that this game has to offer. Furi is a game that unfortunately went under the radar during its early release, but has since built up a stable following. Games similar to Furi that I recommend include the Souls series, for its ball-stomping difficulty and minimalistic story structure. If you have a hard-on for that kind of stuff, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, all that stuff is right down your alley. But if you're in for more of a crazy bullet hell experience, I recommend any number of the Toho games available online. They'll surely give you a run for your money. Furi is overall an underrated game in my opinion, and I hope it picks up a bigger audience in the future, because titles like these that are made by people who truly are passionate about what they do needs to thrive. I give Furi a solid 9 out of 10. It was near perfect in my opinion, however, the blank slate character was a bit of a turnoff for me, and I can see the incredible difficulty and learning spike in this game turning many people away, as it already kind of has. But if you stick around to the end, you'll be greatly relieved, and if you tweet out the fact that you won the game with a screenshot, you can get various discounts on the Furi store where you can buy some great shirts and some other goodies. I saw something incredibly beautiful in this title, and it will go into my video game hall of fame, an honor that I don't give to many video games. Unfortunately, there is no physical release for this game, which truly sucks because I would love to put this bad boy on my shelf. Hopefully they can do something with limited run games, which when I recently tweeted out to the game designer Emmerich Thoa, he said he was interested in the matter, so now it's just really kind of up to the rest of the game bakers in limited run to see if it can happen. But until that happens, I guess I'll have to stick with it being on my PS4. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a good one.